Yeah, I know what it looks like. Man, for the past couple of videos, every time I see you, you're in your car. Well, that's because most of the time I'm at work. And when I'm at work, I'm one of those people that, I'm very focused. I'm a hard worker. And, I put a lot of my energy into my work. So once I'm done with work, I'd be so tired to even make video. So I figured, you know what, because I want to be serious about making these, doing YouTube and making videos, to me, it's more like a break hobby. But for me to completely continue, giving you guys content instead of always having to pour excuse of sorry, I've been working a lot, blah blah blah. Every time I go on break, I'm gonna do my best to come out with a video, especially when I always have good ideas, either early in the morning or while I'm at work. I'd be like, oh shoot, yeah, that's a good topic to talk about. And next thing you know, I'm like, okay, can't wait to get home. Can't wait to get home. I'm gonna write everything down. I'm gonna, say what I want to say, make the video, do the topic, or if it, review, comment, whatever. But by the time I'm done with work, I'm so tired, I'm gassed out. I get home and I'm like, I can do it tomorrow. And by then, it's like I either forget, or it's just, plain and simple, I be so tired from work. I work like pretty much almost every day. So, yeah, like I said, I want to actually make more content for you guys. So if I have to, every time I go on break from work, make a video for you guys, I'm going to do that. If I have to, if I had to do it before work or even after work, hopefully, I would rather do it, at the peacefulness of my home. But as of right now, I do apologize if you're getting sick and tired of me being in my vehicle, but that's the best way for me to do this. Now, another question I know you guys probably wondering, well, what about your motorcycle mentality videos? I mean, you keep saying about, this and that about a motorcycle. We haven't seen your motorcycle yet. Well, here's the thing. Where I'm living, it's better to be secretive about what you have than talk about or show what you have, because if you guys understand what I mean. And I'd rather, keep it best as that, because I don't want to risk something happening unless, I get pissed off and I do have a bad temper, and all of a sudden turn into like Rambo or something, trying to hunt down whomever did what they did. So let me put it like that. I mean, I'll show pictures, snippets, and when I do topic, one day I might, show my ride. But as for right now, it's like, especially when here at work, because I had an incident happen. One day I decided to, you know what, I'm going to ride to work instead of driving the car. I rode to work, and all the parking spots, everything was all full. There was no spot for me to take. And I was like, okay, let me scan my area, because, I did read the book law and stuff like that about, motorcycle parking and things of that nature. And, yeah, excuse me, I'm trying to get my snack. But anyway, so I decided to, like, okay, here's a spot right over here. There's no, sign that states that I can't park here, and it's not in a danger zone for, like, firefighters or police or anything of that nature. It's not in a situation where it's blocking anything or any emergency, like, paramedics or, things I've already mentioned. And I parked there thinking like, okay, I'll work my shift and whatever. So I worked my shift. When it was time for me to leave from my shift, and everything, it was late at night, everything was closed up. I went outside with my gear on and everything, only to be visited by a parking police thing. Well, not really a parking cop. It's more like the facility's version of a security team. They're not real cop. They may dress like one, but they're not real cop. The only thing they can do is they can either chase down the assailant or the troublemaker or whatever, and call the real cop. But anyway, this person, the security person, now had his security car flashing his yellow lights, and I'm thinking, oh, something must be wrong. Let me move my vehicle. And next you know, I'm walking towards my bike, and all of a sudden I see him pull up, roll down the window. He goes, "Excuse me, is this your motorcycle?" Now I want you guys to seriously think about this. I'm in my gear, meaning I have my helmet, my jacket, my gloves, my boots. I'm walking towards my bike. If you cannot visually see, or sorry about that, if you cannot pretty much mentally figure out that, oh, that's probably his motorcycle, why ask? But then again, it's like, okay, whatever. So I just looked at him. I was like, is there a problem? He goes, well, you can't park there. And I looked around and I was like, double checking. I'm like, where do it state that I can't park there? And he goes, well, you need to park in the parking lot. And I was like, when I got here, it was completely full. There was no way for me to park unless you want me to park between cars and risk having my bike be attacked both sides from car doors. So that's not happening. And he was like, well, next time you park here, I'm going to give you a ticket. You know what? I should have gave you a ticket. And then I thought to myself, I worked a long shift that day. These guys patrolled the whole parking lot area and other facilities pretty much about around the same time, or probably longer. That means they see my bike non-stop, but there's no ticket. Eating tamarind, but there's no ticket on my bike. So that led me to believe they were like, ooh, that's a nice bike. Oh yeah, I wish I could ride one of those. Wait, let me park right here and take a closer look at it. I wouldn't be surprised if they already took pictures and stuff like that. I mean, I don't care, because, you know, I got the key. There's no way you can, you know, whatever. And plus, where I parked, I believe it or not, I parked it in a spot where I could easily just come out and check on it. So it wasn't a big deal. So, and then they see me, because obviously they pretty much figured out, oh, this bike must belong to somebody that works somewhere around here. So we're just gonna wait it out, so to speak. And obviously they can tell it's like, you know, I work in one of the area. So what I'm trying to get at is, if they were gonna ticket my bike, they should have been already ticketed my bike for what he says illegal parking or anything. But obviously it wasn't illegal, because I looked in the books and yeah. So I think what it was is the fact that, you know, I didn't, you know, I had my helmet on, but at the time I didn't really put on my jacket all the way. I was just, you know, getting it ready to put on my jacket, so he can obviously tell, you know, yeah, here he comes. So yeah, needless to say, I was like, you know what, I don't trust these guys no more, because obviously if your job is to securitize the facility and everything, and obviously, like I said, if I'm in the wrong, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I'm not that conceited. But like I said, I double checked. I looked at everything. I even looked in the book, even the facility area, about, you know, if they have any place where motorcyclists deem parking legally and where it's deemed not legal. And so far from where I parked, there wasn't an issue. But he made it seem like it's an issue. So because of that, I'm like, you know what, I'll just drive my car to work and then ride whenever I feel like doing anything. I mean, I will admit, I have, you know, even though after that incident, there's a few times I did ride my bike here, and I have been lucky enough to find some spots, but those were like those rare, quick moments. But ever since then, I'm like, you know what, I don't want to risk it. I'm not, nah. And plus, he can't really write me a ticket. He had to call the cop to come over and write me the ticket. The most he can do is give me a warning, which wasn't really a warning. Because even after all that, he was like, oh, by the way, nice bike. And I'm looking at him like, after all that. So, yeah, yeah. Let me check to see what time it is. I'm not trying to make this a vlog. I'm just, you know, feel like chatting, I guess. Wow. Very random. I mean, originally I wanted to talk about, you know, Sega Genesis, you know what? I might as well talk about it now. Sega, come back. I mean, I know you guys still making video games, which is fine, I guess. But I miss the old actual Sega Genesis days. I mean, I still have my Sega Genesis and it still works, and I still have my games and I still play it. But I'm starting to see that there's a lot of greatest hits for Sega games. You can find them on Steam. You can find them for the PS4, the Xbox. You can find it for PCs, you know, all this other stuff of Sega greatest hit. And they make really good games. But, I mean, the last game console they made was the Sega Dreamcast, which I do have. And let me just say, that was ahead of its time when it came out. It's just that, yeah, Sega sort of have a bad... When it comes to marketing, they kind of suck at that. So, that, yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird when, you know, when they first came out, they was like, Sega does what Nintendo don't. You know, I mean, for a cutting-edge type of company to do that, you would think they have vast, great ideas when it comes to marketing and how to push their products out. But, yeah, you can't lie about the numbers and the sales, so that sucks. I mean, the Sega Dreamcast is awesome. So, yeah, if you're going to make more games, you know, apparently over in Sega Japan, they do still make a couple games for the Dreamcast, which is cool. But I feel like Sega need to come back. I mean, if you're going to come back big, come back with like Streets of Rage 4. Or, you know, I mean, like, and please do not, it's a beat 'em up game. Don't try to overconvolute it with deep method storyline. It's a beat 'em up game where you just go around beating up thugs, go to the subjugate boss of that level, beat his ass to go to the next area. It's mindless fight play, which, in a way, I mean, a lot of people will probably say, well, in Streets of Rage, they have a lot of, you know, repetitive enemies before you fight the main boss. Or, well, the level boss, the subjugate boss. And it's like, well, yeah, but it gives you the opportunity and the ability where you can finish them off any way you feel like it. Yeah, the enemies can be repetitive, but the game, the music, everything, it was good. It was fun. So, yeah. Streets of Rage 4. Come out with it. Don't try to overconvolute it with deep story. It's a beat 'em up game. If you want a game that needs a story, I would say bring back Lightning Force. That's one of my favorite shoot 'em up games that was for the Sega Genesis. It has the best sound, to me, in my opinion, one of the best soundtracks throughout the whole game. From the opening to the selection screen to the levels, the bosses, even the continue screen music is great. The ending songs, depending on how difficulty you play, like you play easy, hard, normal, you know, all that stuff, it changes the ending theme of the song when you beat the game. And like I said, that's one of my favorite Sega Genesis games. I love that game to death. Another game, I mean, the reason why I said if you want to give it a story, it's a mindless shoot 'em up game where you're flying around, you're battling aliens or in different techs, and it's just it was a good game. It didn't really have much of a story, to be honest. I mean, even at the ending credit when you beat the game, you see a guy hugging a woman, I assume, and you have no idea who that guy is. You don't even know if that guy was a pilot. It could be the woman that was a pilot. You really just don't know. All you know was that game was fun. So, yeah, definitely bring out another Lightning Force. And keep the messed up spelling of Lightning Force. Keep that. It may make you look like you can't spell, but you know what? That's how I identify with the game, knowing that it's good. So, yeah. One thing about making videos with your windows down, people can hear you.
Make sure you buckle up.
Awkward. I don't care, I'm keeping it in. I'm keeping it in. But, yeah, what is it? Been 15 minutes now? What time is it? Oh man, I gotta get back to work. Well, this is just me rambling. just talking. Like I said, I'm keeping all of it in. So, I don't know what I'm gonna title this video, but yeah, sorry for cutting it short. It is time for me to go, but yeah, if Sega Genesis were to come back out with either a new console or just, you know, overall, okay, before, you know, get out everybody's system, people will say, oh, another Sonic game that's actually good. You know, yeah, get that out your system, but name some game that you would love to see Sega Genesis actually come out with, because one thing that's really good about Sega Genesis, they make some really good soundtrack. And yeah, I mean, so far I already named 2 games, like a new game, Streets of Rage 4, that should happen, and also Lightening Force. You know, it has to be done, you know what I mean? But what games do you think Sega Genesis could come, well, not Sega Genesis, but Sega as a whole, as a company, if they were to come out with a new console, A, what would you name that console? And B, what game listings would you want them to come, you know, bring back? Alright then, I need to get back to work. Later.